Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and as you can see, things look a little bit different here. I'm trying to see if I can get this webcam working again, if I can get my DSLR working with my computer. If not, then we'll probably just stick with StreamYards because I happen to like it as it is. But today is really kind of an interesting day for the Rise of Skywalker. It has had an absolutely tremendous week, an insane week that was only matched by The Force Awakens 4 years ago. Neither Rogue One or The Last Jedi have been able to compete in this magnitude in the way The Rise of Skywalker has. And it's been interesting to watch day by day, especially leading into Christmas and now leading into the second week. Because what we're seeing today is we're seeing a lot of spin coming from some people out there trying to say that, my God, the Rise of Skywalker plunges, it plummets, it tanks 71% drop. Oh my God. Hyperbole. Nonsense. It's not out of the norm. It's not that big of a deal. All things considered, the movie is still on track to gross a lot of money. It did 26 million yesterday. It was still the #1 movie. It's going to be the #1 movie this weekend. Does it have a little bit more competition now than it did? Absolutely. Is that competition really hurting it? No, not really, with the exception of one thing, and I believe that's going to be Little Women, but we're going to talk about that. So it says here on Collider that the Rise of Skywalker's box office, 26 million on Friday, moves towards 600 mil globally. Now, I don't think this movie is going to hit 2 billion. I have made that claim. I'm retracting that claim, but I do think it's going to soar past 1.3, and I think it could rest somewhere around 1.5 to 1.8, probably more on the lower spectrum of that. It's definitely going to do more than a billion, and I do believe, given the legs that it's been having, it's going to do more than The Last Jedi. In fact, it's only about 6% behind The Last Jedi during the first 8 days. So it's not that bad. And I think this next week, given the fact that the new year is coming up, is still going to see a lot of people. So let's see what it says here. No surprise here. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is top dog at the box office as we head into the final movie-going weekend of 2019. The J.J. Abrams directed final installment in the epic Star Wars Skywalker saga made a splash earlier this week with a Christmas Day take-home of 32 million earned. And what I talked about that too, 32 million on Christmas makes up for the Saturday drop from last week. And I talked about that too, where what you had was the movie opened on Thursday night. People went to go see it. It had an amazing $90 million opening Friday that I believe that didn't include the 140 mil or the $40 million that it was meant to pull in on Thursday night screenings. And what happened then was people went out to go shopping, so it had a bit of a lower haul in the first weekend, but then the legs picked up during the weekend. I will show you all that information because you have to keep that into account when looking at this movie. On Friday, Rise of Skywalker pulled in 26.2 million domestically to its already bulging pockets. This $50+ million week means Rise of Skywalker's total is now up to 316 million. Even with a 71% dip from last week and its unfortunate title of the Star Wars sequel trilogy installment with the lowest opening day total, this pick has been recovering quite well in the ensuing holiday week. The film is still doing well on its per theater average, clocking in about 6,000 per theater, with 4,406 theaters included in that figure. Now that number has gone up actually. Last week they did only put it at 3,200 theaters, and they've now increased it by an additional 1,200. But it does seem that increase may not be having the impact that they want. And again, I think that's fair to say. Overseas, Rise of Skywalker added 24.4 million from 52 markets showing for an international take home of 282.3. The top markets are UK, Germany, France, Japan, and Australia. And we know that the movie didn't do well in China. That's just it's none of those movies do very well in China. But in 3 years, when we get the next movie, we will see that shift. And again, I do need to do a video really breaking that down. So what we can see here is that it's doing pretty good, but it does have competition. You've got Jumanji: The Next Level, which is looking to pull in, I think, around another 32 million over the course of the weekend, putting it to a domestic total of over 175 million. You've got Little Women, which is going to be coming in, and you've got Spies in Disguise. Now, Little Women is the one that I think is going to be the most interesting to pay attention to. And I say that because when you look at the demographics coming off of last weekend, there were a lot of women that went to go see The Rise of Skywalker. So Little Women is going to take some away from that. And that's fine. These things happen, right? Little Women is getting a lot of award chatter. There's a lot of considerations for your considerations that are going to be happening as a result of that movie. And so we are going to see people flock to the box office to go and see it. Now, with the holiday being over and families going home, then we might start seeing a little bit of a dip on The Rise of Skywalker. But I do think it is going to outdo The Last Jedi, at least domestically, and I'm pretty sure it's going to do it internationally. This is a movie that does have legs. People are still talking about it. And with The Mandalorian having just wrapped up its second season in such an amazing way, I think that is only going to help in the long run. But this is one that people have been telling me time and time again that they are seeing with their friends multiple times or taking different people to go and see it. So there are a lot of repeat viewings, which is going to give it the legs that it needs. However, if it is trying to pick up the female demographic, and that's what was working for it last weekend, Little Women could in fact hurt it. But jumping over here to Box Office Mojo, we get a better look at the breakdown. And I just want to show you guys the breakdown of the week because I do feel that is important, right? So what we have here is Friday, December 20th, when it opened, we had 89 million, almost 90 million. The next day it dropped to 47 million, which is an insane $40 million dollar dip. And the reason why, again, it's the last Saturday shopping day before Christmas. People just went to the mall. And I talked about that then, and people out there were telling me, no, Matt, you're wrong. You're lying. The movie's terrible. It's tanking. Nobody wants to see it. No one's buying for Christmas anymore. That's just a lie. That's just fake news. You damn dirty Disney shill. You got to go to a press screening, and apparently you are whatever. I don't know. But then Sunday, it only dipped by a little bit more to 40 million and then picked up on Monday with 29 million. That was a huge day. Christmas Eve only did 20 million, but Christmas Day was up to 32 million, and then it dipped only 2 million the next day, and on Friday it dipped a little bit more just to 26 million. So we're starting to see that bubble starting to go down a little bit, but it can maintain itself for the course of the next week. A lot of kids don't go back to school until the second, I don't know, I think it's like the 6th or something of January is when a lot of kids are going to be going back to school. And as a result of that, we're going to be seeing a lot of people checking out this film. Now, again, anything could potentially happen. Anything could potentially go awry. It could go up. It could go down. I don't know. I'm not a person that like does really well in predicting all this stuff. But if you look at just where it's at, it's doing quite well. And I think this is exactly what Disney expected to happen. They knew that this particular film was going to do well. It was going to have legs as time went on. A lot of people tend to focus all their energy and their efforts on the first weekend numbers because in many cases, that's simply all studios care about. Can we use the first 3 days to market the movie? Can we use the first 3 days to push it and push it and push it? And unfortunately, it ends up causing a lot of problems. I don't know where the thing's going to end up. I really don't. I like the movie. I've been very open about the movie. But it's still doing very, very, very well. A lot of people running on that 71% drop failed to look at the rest of the week, failed to understand how these metrics work. But that is, that it could go the other way. I've seen people who work in Hollywood who've been tweeting out that while it's doing well right now, expect it to dip off next week and to ultimately come in under The Last Jedi, which look, that could potentially happen as well. And if that does happen, I'll talk about it 100%. As much as I want this movie to succeed and I want it to do better than The Last Jedi, I'm completely open to the fact that it may not. So it is what it is. This is, this is a high stakes game, if you will. And at this point, we're all just kind of pawns in it, waiting to see how it plays out. Nobody has won. Nobody has lost. The game is still very much active, and it will be for quite some time. A lot of the other conversations that are be coming out of this are probably going to be mostly just kind of petty nitpicking. And not to say that I'm above it. I've done it too. But that is really just what it boils down to. So we have to kind of let the cards fall, the chips fall where they may, that whole saying, and just hope for the best. And I really am hopeful for the best on this one. A lot of people I've talked to really like it. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to do a lot to really kind of help the fan base versus where The Last Jedi fundamentally hurt it. But anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. If you made it this far, go ahead and type Skywalker into the comment section so I know you made it. And be sure to like the video, subscribe, hit that bell. And if you want to get in on the conversation, you can do so by following the information right now. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to keep the conversation going, and if you made it this far, you clearly do, come on in and join the Discord. Link is in the video description. Can't wait to see you there. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.